All right. I believe we're live. How's that? That was like the Pepe face I just did there unknowingly. All right, welcome. What a professional way to start a live stream. To make it more professional, you can see I've got my vacuum cleaner back there because I've been cleaning house. I've got so much stuff to do, comics related stuff to do, that I don't know. It's kind of exciting. Is that weird? It's exciting because I've wanted to work in comics for such a long time, and now I'm working in comics. Yeah, it's just like the little things, and sometimes you'll hear Zach talk about these kinds of things in his videos, and I know at first I'm like, why you're talking about taxes? You're talking about like business meetings, that sorts of stuff. But it's those kinds of things that are good reminders that you're alive, I guess. you're actually doing business. That's a good feeling instead of just dreaming about doing it. So I've been doing a little bit of creative stuff, a little bit, but I need to set aside some time and I need to do some writing because that's high on the priority list here. I've got a few things that I need to just get hammered out. So we're gonna get there. And yeah, this is important though. Taxes equal extortion. Yeah, you know what this comes down to kind of is I'm like, you know what I need to do is I need to start producing the next Downcast book, like spending money on it so I don't have to pay that money to the government. The end of the year is coming. And so if I already know I'm going to be spending money, I've got expenses coming, I got to spend the money. And part of that is just putting artists to work, basically, is what we're doing. The next Downcast campaign is going to be bigger. And by mean bigger is I'm going to mean there's going to be more story involved. But something that's important to me is that I want the model to be affordable, especially because we're going through Alterna. So what I'm trying to do is directly compete with mainstream pricing for books. That's the goal. And the way that I'm going to do that is give you a little bit more story for your dollar. That's the goal. And so I'm not going to be, again, I'm not like raising prices for it. What I'm doing is just raising, is that a motorcycle? Goodness. I'm just going to be raising the amount of story you're getting into it. So I hope that makes sense. I've got big plans, but yeah, part of it is I need to get some artists to work, and that'll help. All right. So any guests on tonight, Clint? Yes, I've got a full lineup of guests. Should be a great show. I sent out the link to guests. I've got one of you coming in from the chat. I figure, I kind of like just starting off the live stream by myself, and we'll get people in. Charlie's got the invite, obviously, and then I've also sent it to a lot of the usuals that we haven't seen in a while, like Vaughn. Got to get Vaughn in here. Got to get Eric in here. I don't know how busy these guys are, but we'll see what happens. So sent the invite out. At least we'll have one guest. I don't want to dox him or anything. I cannot remember what his screen name is. So when he pops in, we'll know for sure. I just don't want to dox him, but he'll come in too. We're just going to talk a little bit of crowdfunding and stuff. Yeah, it should be fun. So yeah. The goal is to make Downcast a little bit bigger, and to, I don't know, sort of expand the story and plan on it being a little bit longer. One of the tough things about Downcast so far has been trying to make the pacing work, because it was like, oh, this might be my one shot to make a book. And so I made the pacing sort of fast, and then, trying to resolve it in the next book. And it was just sort of this weird pacing kind of thing. But going forward, I'm sort of planning it as basically 120 pages worth of a story arc that's coming up, which is going to be big. Obviously, I'm not taking all of that in quite one bite. That's just for the main story, but there will be backup stories as well. So I don't know. I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun. Let's see. So so we have guests on tonight. Saw Netflix's The Babysitter Kill a Queen yesterday. Okay. Was it any good? I don't know. Let's see. Clint has been ghosted. No, I hope not. I just send everyone the link and then I start going live. So they have all got to put their ears on and put their kids to bed and all that kind of stuff. So, but if it's just us, we're still gonna have fun. No, we'll have guests in. It'll be fun. Only cost him his time. Oh, all right, that's deep. Let's see. Any advice to artists who with no illustrative talents? Oh, that was a whole discussion. I might make a video about that tomorrow. But Donald DeLay posted. I don't know. We could talk about it a bit too. Donald DeLay had a discussion openly on Twitter that was really interesting to have, and it's one that's been had over and over again. And that's how much do you pay artists? Should artists be paid, or are artists ever doing something for more than just the love of the art? I guess. And in his case, it's for a paycheck and to pay his bills. That's the plan, essentially. And so I kind of got thinking about it. He said, any artist should get paid $10 an hour. And if you're spending 10 hours on a page of artwork, you should get paid $100. So therefore, you should get paid $100 a page for your art, assuming that you're spending 10 hours per page, 10 hours of work on any one page. And then on the other end of that, I think that means, therefore, that anybody that's hiring you should be making a lot more than $100 per page worth on on your book. So if you're doing a 20-page book, should they be making $200 per page? No, because they've got to print the thing and presumably distribute the thing, stuff like that. So what I want to do is try and figure out exactly what the number would be. What exactly somebody has to make off of your art in order for it to be a good investment, in order for them to continue paying said artist. So essentially, this all boils down to, it's kind of like, what is your wholesale price? If wholesale price for a page is $100, then your writer or your publisher has got to figure out a way to make that a wholesale price and be able to get a lot more money on it. Okay. So that's sort of sort of what you'd think about there. Anyway, I would have to figure out all the numbers, but I think the number's out there. If artists should be making $100 per page, essentially that means that your art has to be good enough. So if you have no illustrative talents, you've got to get those skills. And another interesting thing is he didn't call them talents, he called them skills, and he was pretty insistent upon that. I thought that was interesting. So if your art is not worth $100 a page at least, then you probably shouldn't be asking for jobs, essentially, is kind of what it comes down to, according to Donald DeLay. And welcome Charlie Snogans to the stream. See, I told you guys I didn't get ghosted.
No, I was trying to figure out how to come in, because I can't sit anymore. My back hurts. I'm just getting this weird back pain right in the middle from drawing and being at the table all day. And now I'm just trying to think, I'm used to sitting,
Yeah, now it's like, have you ever looked at those, I don't know what they call them, those back strap things that are supposed to hold your shoulders back so you can stand with good posture? I don't know. It might be a gimmick. I have the same problem though, just working at a computer. I don't know, it might be worse though with drawing, because it kind of forces your arms out more. Perhaps.
I don't know, man. I want to do some sort of a rig where I can just hang upside down and I don't know, have my feet up there and have a totally upside down Batman experience. So I'll just draw inverted, but I don't know how to do it.
Stretch your spine. I don't know. I think they make stuff like that. That could be
inversion tables. I want an inversion table. And now that I've said it, I just said it in my house. That's all you need. Now the computers will know. The what's it called? The algorithm.
The algorithm, yeah. Designed by Al Gore himself.
He did it. He invented it. I have I have no qualms with him. He's made the future for us. It's just he's the robot that has made the world for us to all live in now. So I salute you, Al Gore.
Roland says, I want to give you free art lessons, Clint. That sounds nice. Yeah, I like that idea. I did a little bit of drawing this weekend, and I had a lot of fun, but it was like, I don't know. Here, I'll show you what I did. I showed a little bit of this, like I started it, but I'm doing this, got this character. I was just having fun with it. And I'm realizing that lighting and like where shadows go is really, really hard. Even if I look at figures and stuff, it's still hard. Anyway, that's the drawing that I did this weekend. That was fun. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know though. I look at it at sometimes and I think, oh, that looks pretty cool. You know, maybe I could do a little 8-page. I keep thinking I want to do a little 8-page story to put somewhere, you know, someday. When I look at it, I'm like, I don't know what it would take to do that. So nothing to it but to do it, I guess. So, but it's low on the totem pole.
And it looks like you got page 1 right there.
Could be, yeah. Let's see. Resident Antagonist says $100 per page. So let's say you're doing 22 pages. Let me make sure I'm following you here. Is $2,000 cost to publisher. That's just for line art, mind you, plus $8 or so for printing for each square bound. Okay, depends on your print run size, sure. $2-ish minimum shipping and handling. It's going to cost you a little bit more than that. Oh, minimum. Yes, I agree there. 130-ish sales to profit. I don't know. I'd have to figure. I only have my numbers to go off of. So if you had more volume, things would change for sure. But I do think that you're on the right track here. There has to be some kind of equation you'd have to figure out. And then the question would be, if you're a writer, can you make this amount of money if you hire this artist? That would be the decision-making process. And if you can't, then you're paying out of your own pocket, or you're borrowing. I don't know. You're figuring out how to do it. So I don't know. These questions come up a lot. So it'd be kind of nice to have exactly this, figure out some kind of an equation that would help you. Yeah, I lowballed it then. Yeah, for shipping, that is low for shipping. If you're shipping one medium L domestic, it costs like $3.80, I think it was $3.80. That's medium L, and that's under a pound. Like one floppy, that's how much it's going to cost. So it just goes up from there. And if you're international, it's really far up. So it depends on how many you're selling, but that's, again, you can factor all that into the cost. So it works out. Is $200 good page rate for an artist? Depends on the artist. If you have one in mind, then I guess ask them. I would usually just ask the artist what their page rate is. And I don't know. Charlie, do you get like this? Like, I don't know how it is in advertising, but do you get like this weird negotiation thing, or is it just like, hey, this is how much my rate is, take it or leave it? Do you know what I mean?
It changes with everything. So job to job, account to account. I mean, even in advertising, with my agent, we'll charge one thing for Colgate and a different thing for a different client. Or Colgate Latin America gets a different price. And then coming over to comics, I don't know.
It's such a crap. In comics, it's like, I've seen, like, you could do a post on DeviantArt, for example, and say, looking for comic book artist, give me your page rate and, you know, whatever, your availability. And you're going to get page rates all the way from, I've seen them as low as $30 per page. And I've seen those, they're not worth, you might as well just not. Just don't do it yourself. Right. Yeah. Just do it yourself at that point. There's no point in doing it for $30 a page, all the way up to really high page rates. So it just depends. And then also depends, is it going to be in color? You know, that kind of thing that affects the price. So
I think I saw Brett Booth Was his page rate over 1,000, or was it maybe his covers were 6,000 or $8,000 per cover?
That's
that was his commissions.
commission. So he has this ongoing joke about commissions where he charges. I thought it was something like 30,000 or something insane for a commission because he hates doing commissions.
Oh, maybe that's what I saw.
But it could be covers. Yeah, I don't know. I personally would not buy a cover. I would not make that money back on his cover. I just wouldn't sell that much. So, but $200, I would say you could find an artist for $200. Like depending on what you're looking for, you're not going to insult somebody depending on where they're at.
Yeah,
especially
200 should be pretty good. They are right.
Yeah,
for 200. They better be.
$100 ends up being honestly like I think the average, at least in indie comics, that's like the median. But maybe I don't know. There's just a lot. What's the word median? It's the most people seem to be charging about $100, or that's kind of what's expected. You can get a little bit less for sure, and then you can get a little bit more. So for 200, I'd probably keep an artist happy around for a little while. Unless they have a huge name and they're selling covers for $8,000 per cover or something like that.
That's the way to do it.
I know that was John Tyler Christopher that I met at a convention. I always bring him up, but he's like, why would I asked him if there was a book he'd ever do interior art for, and he's like, it'd have to be just this one particular book. I can't even remember what it was, but X-Men something, maybe it was X-Force or something. He said if he did that, he would do interior pages, but besides that, it just made no sense to him because he made such good money doing covers. It just didn't make sense to him.
That's why J. Scott Campbell never does interiors anymore. It's just not worth it.
I don't think so. He gets so much from his covers. I heard it's probably not public information. I know somebody that got a request that asked him to do a cover, and the price was so astronomical. It was like,
what was the price?
It was like in the tens of thousands, like well over $20,000
for a single cover.
For a single cover.
Wow. All right, just do covers then, man.
I know, if you're making that much money, I was just like, whoa. That is, wow, that's a lot of money. But he sells them, I guess. So,
has he not done a book? Money. I have no idea. Has he not done a book since
Power Girl?
I can't even.
Yeah,
Danger Girl.
Power Girl. Danger Girl. That's right. Yeah, I don't know. It's been, Image Days. I'm guessing. I think he might have done something for Marvel after. I don't know. The chat will straighten us out.
Oh wait, he had a few pages in Spawn 300.
Okay, that was probably a kind of a rare exception, I would guess.
Yeah, but at this point, after you've made all those covers and you've banked that money, and you're a comic book artist, don't you want to make a comic book?
I would think so. That's the fun.
Isn't that why you're here?
Part, right?
It's fun. Danger Girl's great. Do it again. It's why you're known. Now he's just going to do covers for. I don't know. I can't hold it against him to make money, but I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, the panels are where all the fun is.
Right. Yeah. The storytelling component of it, and I don't know. Yeah, it sounds like it would be fun to me.
He did Gen. What was that book called? Gen X?
Gen X. Yeah, I think so.
Or Gen something. And then he did Danger Girl. And then covers forever. Was there nothing else
for a very long time? I know he said he wanted to do Spider-Man or something. Like that was a big.
Yeah, but did he ever do a Spider-Man? I know he did a lot of Spider-Man covers. Those I saw.
That I'm not sure of. I kind of doubt it. I don't know. I doubt it.
I'm always so let down by, whether it's now or 30 years ago, you walk into the comic book store and you look, there's the beautiful covers on the wall, and you look, oh, look, here's the one. Look at this one, caught my eye. And then you open it and say, this isn't at all what was on the cover. Why would I buy this? I wouldn't buy it just because of the cover. The cover's nice, the interior's lame. It is so hard to not curse.
Oh, I said another pause. I appreciate the we were trying to do
the cover is so nice. I open it and the inside is
it's a disappointment. Such a letdown. I know.
Let me give you double barreled shotguns. Why would they do that? At least make it match a little.
Right.
I mean, if I'm buying a Cyberfrog book and there's Jaylee's cover is amazing and Ethan's interiors are amazing, so at least that's great.
Yeah.
But I mean, so many covers are. Here's this painted, amazing cover, and then you open it up and it's garbage inside.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
The DeviantArt $30 a page kind of stuff. Yeah, that's a problem. I even think of just the levels of books that you're putting out. You got to figure out what is kind of in your realm. Do you know what I mean? Which is why, I don't know, I'd probably, like, for Fatal, you're going to have, and I had a little bit of trouble with this, but you have to find an artist that can stand toe to toe with Charlie Snogans, you know what I mean, on the same book. The same goes the other way. Something like Downcast, where it's more of like an indie look, you know what I mean? You can't have, you know, an amazing, you can't have Charlie Snogans. I mean, we probably could, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little disappointing to have such a great cover. And then
that cover was nice it was the close up of the girl's eyes. Is that what the first one was? Right here. That was a print. That wasn't even a cover. But we had Kelsey Shannon do which he did as a great job. But again, I guess it comes down to the style too, or is a little bit more cartoony looking, I guess, as opposed to their other options. Daniel says, if you're looking for an artist, I charge $80 per page, color artwork. That's good to know. I'd suggest get your portfolio out there. I'm currently not looking for an artist, but I'm going to be doing more like little side books and stuff to add to campaigns. So yeah, you could email me a portfolio if you'd like to, but currently I'm not on the hunt. Expand the Sweet Comics Press runs.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't want to do too many I don't want to do a whole campaign for each idea. So it's kind of nice to sort of buddy up with like, oh, here's a one shot we can add to it, you know. And welcome Jasper Plan 9 to the stream. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me, Clint. Can you hear me?
You sound good.
Audio's good. Wonderful. Yeah. I hear you. Hello, Charlie. How are you?
Perfect.
Howdy, Jasper. How's everything going? You got Plan 9?
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for having me.
What happened to the first 8 plans?
This is the first time I set up. So I set up with the iPad. I bought a mic.
Okay.
I bought some headphones. So I just wanted, I wasn't set up. I was, putting the boy to bed, doing family stuff.
It's a good tester stream, kind of test the waters. I posted the link into like, to the regulars, and I said it's going to be pretty casual. So, it should be good, but you sound good. So, so just to kind of set the stage, I guess, a little bit, you emailed me and said, hey, we've seen you in the chat, obviously, but you said, hey, I want to come in and talk a little bit crowdfunding comics and kind of what goes on there.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like you're kind of an inspiration, and you're a good show to listen to just because you came in with no resume. I know you said you've written a novel, but you as a writer, that's something that those are the skills I have in my wheelhouse. And it's something if I want to do a project, that's something that I could start as a writer.
Yeah.
So I have fun following your journey. I bought Downcast just to see, almost as research homework. I'm partially through the second one, but almost as homework just to see oh, okay, his first time out, his second time out. Let's just see his his trajectory, if you will,
Right. Yeah.
And so it's fun to watch you, and I'm not trying to pump you up. And if I do, that's wonderful. But I appreciate him the on.
I'm always ready for a letdown too. So that's okay. I'm always ready for a letdown too. So it's all good. I appreciate
no,
that.
I'm enjoying Downcast. I think it's great. Great first time out. You know, if I wanted to be super critical, we can. But
Sure.
But I'm mostly interested in like you know, and I look at your campaigns, and I look at everybody's campaigns, but I'm like, I look at like the numbers. I can't remember what Downcast 1 did. What Downcast 2 did, like 40, right?
Yeah. Now that it's been in demand, yeah, it was like 38, and then since I shipped the book out, it got up to 40. So
Yeah, I always wonder what expenses are. I always wonder all that stuff, and yeah.
It can be a ton. It really varies between projects, like even just Downcast 1 and Downcast 2 having it be a different page count, therefore it was a different weight, shipping weight, and so international orders cost a little bit different, and like the freight rates were more expensive. That's where you really notice it, because even though I printed fewer books, they came on 2 pallets instead of 1 pallet because of the page count, and that made freight more expensive. So it was just little things like that sort of add up. But yeah,
Sure.
it can vary widely, I think, for expenses. I know I've done a breakdown. I might be a good idea to do one again for Downcast 2 and sort of break down what shipping costs and all that. I don't know that there's any, because it's crowdfunded, it's so public, I don't know that it's really taboo. You know what I mean? To go over, like, normally it's like, well, it's my finances, but everyone can see clearly like the total dollar amount raised. So it's like, I don't know, you can kind of figure it out. If I tell you what printing costs and shipping costs, you can figure out the rest. So
yeah. Or
how many more
like,
pages is Downcast 2?
What's that? I'm sorry.
How many pages more is Downcast 2? So Downcast 2 is 88 pages. Downcast 1 was, it was 52, but it was 56 like printed pages. So that was like 2
and
increments.
That changed the weight enough?
It's significant. It looks like the paper's nicer. I'm not comparing it right now, but you're talking about going on. No, I'm like, I worked in print forever. I heard you discussing changing paperweight on as an upgrade for Fatal.
Yeah,
I would Downcast 2 is a really nice presentation. The paperweight for interior pages is perfect, and the cover weight. The cover weight's probably perfect as well. If you go thicker, I don't know what the price of a hardcover is compared to like a soft cover. I like hardcovers better. Like I feel like me reading your Downcast 2 is already beat up. Just do the amount of pages and do the amount of time I have to sit down and read it. If I want to sit in read it in like say 8 to 10 sittings, I feel like the binding's gonna get like, I can tell which page I saved last and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas hardcovers, if you look behind me, I saved them all, and
yeah, the trade paperbacks, like, so I used 100-pound paper stock for Downcast, which is thick, and I was actually thinking, because a normal upgrade would be like 80-pound is a pretty good upgrade, so I was actually thinking of doing Fatal in 80-pound, but I sort of left it open-ended. It's either going to be 80 or 100-pound, because I kind of wanted to see what people said. And I was hearing mixed things. Some people love the really thick paper, and some people are like, yeah, it's a bit much. It felt like I was turning 2 pages at a time, stuff like that.
Are you talking about the interior for 100-pound?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Yeah. Do you now? Do you buy like have you bought any of the? No, these are beautiful. Dark Horse started doing. I don't know if they started doing them, but I started buying the Dark Horse library editions.
Oh yeah, I've got 6 of them now. They're all Hellboy library editions.
Yeah,
those
are beautiful.
Really nice.
Those are very thick pages. So like that, I feel like the page weight of those is like what you were doing. Are those the Hellboy? I have Jeff Lemire's Cullen Bunn's Harrow County. Yeah, those are the only ones I have. But those presentations are beautiful, and I mean,
oh yeah,
that's they're the same size as my DC Absolutes, and some of them are matte pages, which are really nice. Like the Batman Long Halloween was on matte, and Tim Sale's art looked great on the matte, and most of them are usually on gloss pages. But those are usually about the same weight as what you use for Downcast.
Yeah,
holy technical dork stuff, but I'm talking with it because like I said, I worked in print for years, so I can like go over anywhere from screen printing to pre-press to like back in the dark ages when I got into it, darkroom stuff.
it's funny how printing seems like super boring, but there's actually a lot of people. Like when I was going to talk to printers last week, they're all like super into printing. Like it's a passion, you know. Yeah, I think that they probably use 100 pound. I'm guessing. I could probably sit down and compare
No,
the
it's
two.
80.
It is 80.
No, and then Image. They did a really nice presentation for Rick Remender's Deadly Class. They made it larger than the other deluxe editions. But I think if you use 60 pound on Downcast, is that what you did?
No, I used 100 pound on Downcast.
That's 100 pound.
That's 100 pound. Yeah.
Okay, or Downcast 2.
Well, yeah, both Downcast 1 and Downcast 2.
Okay, I would not go heavier.
Yeah, I didn't think so. That I was thinking about taking it down a notch to 80 pound because that seemed pretty thick already. So I don't know.
When I've worked like in print and had to sell, the 100 pound was thicker than 80 pound.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if anything changed. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But yeah, if that's what you use, I would definitely use the same stuff. And like I said, the Image, I really like the presentation on Rick Remender's Deadly Class, what they put out, and it was absolute size, and the pages were thicker. The interior pages, it was the same thickness as Downcast.
Okay,
I think that's a good thickness to stick at.
Yeah, they're nice. I'm open to it. I don't know that the price difference between making the paperweight a little lighter or 80 to 100 pound really matters all that much. Ultimately I just wanted them to look like nice books, because they're crowdfunded, and it's kind of nice to have something special that just looks nice and feels nice. So that's sort of the goal anyway at the end of the day.
The thing is a drag, man, and I think a lot of CGers should do this more, or just crowdfunders in general. I don't care if they're CG really. But I think they should almost, if you want your thing to be held on to, I think you should make them hardcover. Like I backed Snyder and Shangar Murphy's thing almost exclusively because they're hardcovers. Because I mean, all my trades, I put them in a bag to keep them nice. I do my best, but ultimately, I mean, they just got shoved in another short box. I don't put them on the shelf really much, And if I do put them on the shelf, I can't put them in a bag; they'll look ugly. So it's like, yeah, I don't know.
So you think a hardcover is the way to go?
I think if you want them to be things that people hang on to and cherish for a really long time and don't just shove in a box. I mean, sure, I watch certain YouTube shows that where their guys are showing off their omnibus collections, and they and I rarely see hard or soft covers on a shelf.
Gem Mint Collectibles.
That's I watch his show. I tune in and out with him. But I buy all that guy. Oh my goodness, he's ridiculous with what he buys. But I have
so many.
Of course, he's got every single one, and I have some of those. But I buy like that, man.
I hear you, man. Hardcovers are nice. I love getting hardcovers. For crowdfunding, I guess, I don't know. It gets a little bit more risky because the expenses go way up with hardbound because the weight is so much more. It costs a lot more to print. I want to for sure get into and do hardbacks, but I'd almost want to do it when you can collect everything when you have like an omnibus page count.
That makes sense. And I mean, I know we're all indie creators, on a budget and stuff like that, and you get whatever it raises, and that's what you're stuck with, and you can take the profit, decide what kind of profit you want from that. But I think ultimately people are going to cherish the thing that has the most pages. So I'd almost say like I prefer floppies with a nice thick cover, to put along with my other floppies,
rather than trade paperback.
Yeah, because that's just me though. I keep all my keys. Like I'm an adult. I don't buy monthly books anymore. I buy keys and then I buy hardcovers. That's pretty much it. And it's pretty radical when the hardcovers go out of print and they shoot up in value. Right.
Yeah. No, this is all good stuff, I think. For me, I'm still struggling with because reading a monthly book in floppy format is not as fun for me. I'd rather just wait, so I can just read it all in a single book. You know what I mean? Like I like that. At the same time, I do love collecting comics. Like I just love, I've got the little rack back here. I love just looking at the covers and everything. That's part of the fun too. So
yeah, it feels good to have them nearby, right?
Absolutely. There's just something about it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you there. But yeah, if I'm buying new stuff, I pretty much I'll wait for the collection. But I'm buying all these CG books, most of them. I stopped. I watch as many shows as I can, and then like I kind of stopped doing. I was doing super chats for a while, and I'm like, you know what? If I just stop doing this, I can buy more books, and people would be more happy. That number would look better. That's the reason they're doing all these shows, and I mean, why throw money at like one night show? I mean, that's like a lot of lunches, number one, but number two, like that's also like I could buy books, and
right.
So everyone wants their books to be purchased, so why not just do that?
Yeah, no, I like that theory. I mean, I gotta say, I love getting super chats, but YouTube in and of itself is really, at least for me, it's a vehicle to let people know about the books. So I would even rather as a creator have people, if they're trying to decide, should I buy the book or should I super chat? I'd much rather have you buy the book.
Yeah.
So I do have to, let me promote this. I'll copy the link. This is for Fatal. And we're getting pretty close to $66,000. That next stretch goal is at 70,000, where we're talking about upgrades for the book quality itself. I'm trying to be very meticulous with what paperweight, like down to this kind of nitty gritty, to make sure that we've got a really nice book that we're putting out. But that's the goal there once we hit 70,000. So help us reach that quickly, especially if you haven't backed it yet. That really helps us out. And it'll sort of just set us up for, the rest of the campaign. There are 19 days left currently.
Yeah, congratulations, by the way. I mean, I told you I buy your stuff already, but
yeah.
I mean,
appreciate
you guys are doing a great job. You're just knocking it out of the park on this, and everyone seems to be really excited about it. So that's just wonderful, man. It must really make you guys feel good.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's kind of surreal sometimes. Like, oh man, I didn't, I don't know. It's just cool to see where things have gone. 2 years ago I was like nobody at all. I'm still nobody, but at least like funny? Getting books put out there and growing.
I think I originally kind of like I suggested something to this effect, but no, I feel like you're like the everyman, because and then you are the guy. You're like, again, you're the nobody. I'm trying to think of you came in without a resume. And then Zach did that numbers study the other day, like Fabian Nicieza, he did a Juggernaut book, and then Ron Garney. So these are creators with that they all have quite a body of work to be proud of. Fabian Nicieza, he co-created Deadpool. I think there's a little bit of a fight between him and Liefeld, who's the real responsible for it.
Yeah.
But I met him. Yeah, I met him in Dallas. But a super nice guy. And then but no, so Zach was comparing them. Zach was like, okay, all these heavy hitters, all these guys, like, they could do a crowdfund, like Ron Garney, Fabian Nicieza, like Zach at this point knows what people make, like at Marvel. And he's like, this is what I did on one. I don't know. I forgot. He did it's like he did Ethan, I think. He did himself, maybe. And then I don't know. I don't think he did Malin. He did 3 people. He did himself, and I think he did Ethan, and then he did you. So it's like you're the guy to pay attention to, in my opinion. When you release these books, because like you're the guy that just came in without a resume.
He's Cinderfella.
What's that?
Cinderfella.
He's the Cinderfella man coming in out of nowhere.
Clint is the everyman.
Throwing.
No, man, it's. I didn't just come on your show. But no, I enjoy watching your show. I think
what I appreciate that. I really to me this was a big thing, and I've been talking about this a little bit lately, but it's been a big thing to sort of, as I was looking at campaigns going into it, like, but this person has, like, there's a logical reason why they've had such big success. Like, this person has years of experience in Ethan, he's got a whole legacy already at DC. John Malin, he's already worked for Marvel, that gives him a lot of clout and experience, and to kind of go through people. And I've wondered, sort of starting it off, like, are they going to give like an indie guy a chance You know what I mean? And so it's cool. And I'm not the only one. I think there are other people. I think of like Von Klaus has had a very successful campaign, and like Eric Weathers has built his whole lettering career. You know what I mean? He's doing it full time now, and it all started.
Shane's coming in. That's pretty cool, huh?
It is, yeah. And I love seeing pros come over. Graham Nolan, you know.
Oh my goodness, I backed his
so
book.
great.
Like, I think I was really excited when I met him in Dallas as well. But no, I backed his book. I was like, I was on Indiegogo, and by chance, it's like I stumbled upon it, and and I was like, wow, you know. And then so I was in Ethan's chat. I think I even did a few super chats where I just started just like hitting it hard one day, like Graham Nolan, this you gotta look at that book looks amazing, dude. It does. Yeah, and then he's really good at. Have you backed it?
Oh yeah.
He's excellent at sending updates, isn't he?
He is. Yeah, you get updates. I don't know. It's almost like weekly. It seems like at least. They seem really often. He's updating things and making progress, showing little art things. And we had him on the show once. He was just so cool to talk to. But I don't know. It is really cool.
I feel like
I was over the moon after
all
we
the
talked
time,
to
like about Bane and stuff.
Yeah. I think it was early in
I came into the chat a little bit, and you guys, I think you were talking about Bane a little bit, or maybe his background. Charlie was asking about his background or something like that. But no, he's cool to talk to. Shit, is he working digital? No,
I think so.
I think he's working part. No, I don't know. He's selling all these analog pages, but I don't know if he's working both.
I think now he's doing digital.
Doing digital. Because I think whatever he's using, he recorded it and posted the whole system of how he goes through a page.
The snow is beautiful.
Yeah, Mr. Potato. This has become I love this one too, Sweet Potato.
Everybody's got their version of what Clint is. Clint is a sling blade. Ethan says you're who's that cadet that loses his mind and kills everybody?
Oh gosh, I can't. Private Pile. Yeah, that was Cecil
Private
first.
Pile. You're also Emmett in Lego Movie. He's every guy. He goes to work and he can build stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
And there's and
I
like it's insulting
Charlie's
at
dressing
first
you
when
down, Clint. You can't tell.
Yeah.
No. Here's the thing. The initial read is he's so standard. You could be the Lego guy. I mean, Zach said, "Why am I listening to Clint? He's talking about his sock drawer." Right? Wasn't that one of the videos?
Yeah, I've never talked about my sock drawer, for the record, but I get what he means. Same energy.
Zach dresses you down so bad, dude.
I know
the things he says.
But it's
like,
because
I can't help but laugh. But
it's
not true. They're like this guy. He said the most exciting thing about this guy is his hairline.
No, I heard that.
He's like, he has no hot takes, and like
it's because you can build stuff.
And I think there's a bit of I feel we'll have to change the subject. It feels weird talking this much about myself, but I do think that there's just an element of, hey, there's just a regular dude. That there's a lot of, I'm kind of a shy nerd. You know, I think that's another term that Zach likes to use. And I think there's a lot of other guys out there that, you know, I'm not super entertaining. I'm not, you know, like, I don't know. I don't have whatever the whatever that is, but I'm regular enough that I guess it works. So I'll go with it. Well, I can't analyze it too much.
Yeah, I see where you're going. We don't want to make this all about you, but let me just. I haven't been.
Wait, no, it is. This is Clint's channel. We can make all about Clint all night long. And I'm going to push forward on
like and subscribe, right?
On the idea of Emmett. Remember, they all came to him in the Lego Movie. I have kids, so I've seen the Lego Movie a lot. And they come to him. And the chick who's all style, right? What's her name? She's Wild Style. She's she can build anything and everything like that. And then she's so disappointed when she finds out, wait, he's just this regular guy. But it's the regular guy. There's a lot of people who might be like Wild Style, who are super fast and super cute, and they're going to be super clever. But it's always the idea of you got your engine, and your engine generates a certain amount of torque. How much of that torque is getting to the rear wheels?
Yeah.
That's what you got to figure out. Talent is a driver's license, right? So you could say, or IQ. I've got a lot of friends with high IQ, and they go nowhere. It doesn't do anything. IQ and talent.
Me, man.
IQ and talent doesn't do zip. It doesn't do anything. How much of the torque is getting to the rear wheels?
Yeah.
All right.
And then your truck goes forward.
You're talking about like things
Clint?
like
getting
physical
it
things
done
to show for. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I mean, what would be the meanest thing you could say to Clint is he's the most regular guy with no flash. But to get it done, you don't need flash. You don't need any flash.
Right. And that
needs skill and know-how.
And that's what makes it a story, I guess. You know,
I have not been following. Yeah, let's hope you are delivering on content. But anyways, no. The other thing was, it's like I haven't been following a lot of these YouTube channels for that long, and it seems like you have like delivered the most within the short amount of time I've been like following. So therefore, I can say like, oh, you know, rather than go backtrack, you know, a lot of these guys, they like what Zach's doing a second printing for one of his Ironsides books. I back that. I back all of Zach's stuff because I feel like it's just an FU to Mark Wade.
Yeah.
I like
there's some joy in it.
Things that Mark Wade has done, but like I said, I'm going to get something in the mail and it's going to be an FU to Mark Wade. So it's like, you know, killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
So
there's something fun about it. And yeah, I mean, hard work pays off. You can't make up for everything, you know, that you're lacking, that's for sure. But I always say, like, you're still better off if you're working at it than if you're not. You know what I mean? At the end of the idea, like the whole concept of like, you know, oppression and privilege and stuff. Okay, however you factor that in, how it affects your life, but ultimately you're still going to be better off if you're trying and you're working hard than if you're not. So I don't know how high I can climb in the comics business, but I'll surely never find out, you know, unless I'm producing and making videos and making connections and doing all that kind of stuff. So I got to say one thing too. Let's see about Zach. He says it's all love coming from Zach. Guys, he's been really great. He's promoted Fatal. He's promoted Downcast in his videos and you know, in his way. But I get backers every time he mentions something I'm doing in a video, you know. And I appreciate that. And he knows that it helps. And so it's not by accident. I think he's done other favors for me in kind of roundabout ways that he hasn't needed to. And so I've got tons of respect. He deserves all the respect that he gets. That's for sure. And I'm going to continue to give him respect. So
yeah, he's another everyman too. You can
absolutely,
you can take it that way, but he definitely got in on the ground floor like a you know, like he was out for blood. He pissed off the right people. He pissed off the right people, for better or worse. Pissed off and appealed to the right people, you know, at the right time. So, you know, you could say Zach has a resume himself, you know, where you don't have that resume of you know, ruffling feathers.
Nowadays, I think it'd be hard to, like, I think there are a lot of people that get into it and they think, oh, I'm going to make videos. First thing I'm going to do is go to Twitter and start some fights. It doesn't work. It's
it's a soul sucker. I tried.
Yeah.
I was on Twitter. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that was pretty much done. Basically, it's just, it doesn't work. There's something that happened very organically with the way that Zach's success went and rolled out, and not just success, but also troubles. Remember, he got a publishing contract canceled and he's in a lawsuit with Mark Wade. You know, like, it's not all like roses and honey, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's not really part of the formula. And when people go into it, and I see this often, that they'll start a YouTube channel and they think that's part of the formula to go like pick fights or something. You have to understand, I don't think it ever was really part of the formula. If anyone has that misconception, it was just Zach being Zach, and that rubbed people the wrong way, you know? So,
well, it's one thing to pick fights. It's another thing to stand your ground.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. I mean, we watched that kid in the red MAGA hat when
The smirking
people,
kid.
the smirking kid who just
The
stood there
smirking kid. Yeah.
and smiled at someone playing a drum in his face. That's not easy to do. Somebody's playing a drum in your face. Usually you back up a little bit. Like, what's happening to me?
Right.
That was one of the first things I saw and thought, what's happening here? The whole culture is going sideways. And I had just, right when that happened, was that 2 years ago? Or a year and a half ago? That was,
yeah. Maybe it was 2 years ago.
I drew that kid kissing a girl in a pink pussy hat. And
I remember that
posted
drawing.
it. That was what got me attention. I posted that drawing and posted it, and I think tagged Ethan and Doug TeNapel and said kiss and make up, something like that.
Yeah.
Tell me, what are you arguing about? Well, I remember then that kid went on 60 Minutes or whatever NBC goofy show with Amanda, whatever, newscaster face. And newscaster face, he said to him, "What were you doing?" And he said, "I just stood there. I just stood my ground." And she said, "Don't you think that was a little aggressive?" No, lady. Standing your ground is not aggressive.
Right.
But in the land of puss-faced crab walkers,
soy, yeah. Right. It was active.
I'm gonna go with puss-faced crab walking soy boys. Yeah, standing your ground is enough to make you an aggressive meanie. And
right.
An aggressive meanie, you can't let that happen. And
it's
all Zach
bravery.
did was Zach criticized terrible comic books and then stood his ground. And that made him persona non grata.
And you know,
enemy number one.
The strangest thing about it too is that there are a lot of people in the industry that agree with him and agreed with him, but they couldn't say anything. They couldn't say anything. I know that they're out there. I hear from every once in a while. I hear from some of them, but they're out there. So it really it's an act of bravery, and he's, now he's created like a successful publishing. I just said he's created a successful publishing company. Sorry, Charlie.
Thank you.
What's he doing now, though, man? I mean, I don't want to get into it really, but like we can though. Is he just coming up?
What is he doing now?
Is he turning? Okay, he looks like he's turning into a Stan Lee, like where he's plotting and then he's like having Chuck Dixon do scripts. You know what I mean? Like he's doing he's giving okay, this is the idea, but Chuck Dixon's actually writing the dialogue and he did that with. It looks like Impossible Stars. Chuck Dixon is credited as script.
Yeah, and
he is credited as story. And then that's Expendables Go to Hell. I don't know how that whole thing broke down, but there's Sylvester Stallone was involved and stuff.
Chuck Dixon wrote at least the main story. Zach wrote a side one. I could speculate.
Like Stan Lee, he's grandstanding for that project, no matter I don't know how much he contributed. Maybe if it was like chunks of plot, Who knows?
I mean, I don't know. I can tell you though that there's one thing that I feel like there's missing a little bit in indie comics is that you don't have like special in writing. You don't have like a mentor to kind of help you. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but I kind of wonder if in part that's kind of helping him to be working so closely with Chuck Dixon.
Yeah, I mean, and then I've heard them say Zach he really does want to do a monthly book, and that's awesome. I would love to see. I'm waiting on I think 4 projects to arrive from him, and I hope that this what I just said isn't taking away from Zach when I'm saying that he's handing out plots and but yet he's not writing scripts. That just means that's his job. You know what I mean? If that's how he produces more, then that's wonderful.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be interested to see if he kind of transitions over to full on publisher and he's doing. I know a lot of people are down on monthly books. I think if he could do that, if he was maybe not necessarily even monthly, but just doing a regular series that you could expect a certain time. I loved the idea of the subscription model that EVS was talking about, and then it quickly disappeared. I thought it was a good idea. Not for me to do, but people kept bringing that up. I can't do that. But I don't know. Some of these guys that are pulling in a lot of money, they might. I don't know. It'd be cool to see them do it. So I don't know.
I mean, this is all going somewhere, and it's very interesting to see it. And I wish it was like being maybe like documented. I had the idea, like, and someone can steal this title if they want to. Are you familiar with? There's a book on punk rock. It's called "Please Kill Me."
I haven't seen that one, never heard of it.
It's a great book, and if you talk to anyone that follows like even just music history, they'll say it's one of the best books like on music history. It's called Please Kill Me. So I had this idea to like actually document the Comicsgate movement, but I wanted to call it Please Shill Me, and I wanted it all to be quotes from shows, but I'm like, that would take forever for me to dissect all these shows, you know.
Yeah.
I thought Please Shill Me would be a good title, because that's like last streams are just based around, you know, shilling the books.
I would love to see a documentary. Like there's the Don't F with Cats one that goes through. I don't know if you've seen that on Netflix, but it goes through really specific, like, here are internet posts. It was like all centered around Facebook and this particular instance, and it ends with like a murder. Like it's intense. But seeing something to that level where they're like go through like series of events and stuff, I think that would be super interesting, but so much work. I don't know. I've got to believe someone out there's collecting stuff, but I don't know.
Camel Moon, he says he's like, he considered himself a historian of sorts, but you know, I mean, what he's doing, I mean, I don't know, maybe he's taking like very involved notes, who knows, but but he's like producing like, you know, some entertaining stuff.
Absolutely. He'd be a good one to kind of pick his brain a little bit, because he could probably do a great documentary, I'd imagine. Roland said Zach has said comics is short term. When he's done all his stories, he's leaving. I hope that's not true.
We'll see.
I've heard him say that.
Of course, I heard him say that too. He's like a 5-year plan, but yeah, we'll see. Hey, wait and see, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. He could probably, I imagine he could be convinced to stay, but we'll see. Even if he's a publisher, though, there's no shame. You need publishers, you know, to the whole business side of things makes everything happen. And so if he was publishing and he was less interested in writing and he was hiring good people and putting good books out, I'm happy, you know.
Wait, what was that? He's gonna do 5 years and he's
outside
out?
of like this little movement at some point to where like the I don't know, say the main guy is like is wearing all the hats, you know, so to speak. So like, yeah, you know, like Malin's already moved up the food chain on his books, where he's not really doing art duties on some of them, you know, and the new Graveyard Shift. So he's like, right. I think he said he had someone look over his script for, you know, say misspellings or just like grammatical errors. And so, I mean, it's already happening to where there's like an editor of sorts or just a proofreader or like something. And, you know, and then like Zach, if he already has, I mean, he has a little indie titles, and those are maybe one shots, or there's something that's coming after those, like Pandemic and The Ballad of No. But he's already made Iron Sights, Jawbreakers, and he wants to make Impossible Stars franchises. So that's 3 right there. That's a lot, you know?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
If he trusts creators enough to stand back and let them do their stuff, and, you know, just because he understands the business. This is all going somewhere. It's very exciting.
It is. I think I don't know, in 5 years, who knows? Even in 1 year, I think how drastically things have changed. In 2 years from now, 2 years ago versus 2 years from now, who knows? It could be pretty great. But I just love seeing established creators and established publishers kind of doing their thing, and it's great because it gives artists jobs, it gives people work. You know, I like seeing that too, where you don't have to worry about some of this other stuff. And I'm going to, speaking of work, there's my bad transition. I'm going to bring this up only for a minute. But did you notice that I'm going to always say your name wrong, Kamala Zong's job is posted now on Kickstarter, Director of Publishing Outreach. This is exactly her job that they just cut, they got rid of, and here it is posted. So that
Well, I gotta think that these, well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of high profile campaigns bringing lots of some profit percentages for Kickstarter, so they can afford that job again.
yeah, there's a
with the industry crumbling.
Interesting to see. I'm going to post it in the chat. If you're interested in applying, here it is. You could do it. But I don't know. I want to read through a little bit of some of the roles. Like, well, this is what you're expected to do. So you're seek out promising publishing and comics creators who use Kickstarter to bring in exemplary projects to life. So I didn't realize that they're actively looking out for perhaps for professionals, or I just saw one today that was from a football pro football player that is launching a comic, which is cool. I just would not have expected it. Yeah, did I say her name wrong? I don't know how to say her name.
Camilla Zong. I don't know.
Camilla.
Everyone,
Okay.
Ethan said, I've heard Camilla Zong pronounced Camilla Zong more than anything else. So Camilla Zong.
Camilla. I don't know that one. That's who I'm talking about. And then let's see, guide creators through the process of successfully planning, launching, fulfilling Kickstarter campaigns. That's an interesting one. I've never had anybody from Indiegogo that's guided me, but I don't think I'd want anyone guiding me necessarily through it.
Wait, what was that last one?
Guide creators through the process of successfully planning, launching, and fulfilling Kickstarter campaigns.
I'm guessing Sean Gordon Murphy said that someone paired up with him, reached out to him from Indiegogo when he did plot holes.
Interesting. Oh, from Indiegogo. Interesting.
Yeah.
You might have to be a big name or somebody that they're expecting to bring in some money, I'm guessing.
Yeah, hard to say, you know. I mean, why don't you reach out, you know?
I should. I did hear about this was back in January. They said there was some guy, there's a contact at Indiegogo that you could ask for particular things with your campaign. And I'm like, I never got this guy's email, so I got his email secondhand, and I said, you guys owe me, because they held back some money. It was like $2,000. You held back this money. Can you release it? I've already fulfilled the campaign and everything, and so he fixed that. But that was the only, I guess, contact I've had. It's fine though. I don't really, for the most part, everything I'm doing is pretty straightforward.
Keep in mind though, I've been kind of involved in internet stuff for a while. I have a lot of friends in San Francisco, and I got into podcasting early on, and then it kind of did what YouTube's doing right now, where it's getting very saturated. It's like I got into podcasting when in 2005, iTunes opened up the ability to download, to subscribe and stuff. And then I got out of it. But in the meantime, during that time period, I met a lot of people doing startups. And even I moved to Austin too. So there's just by chance though. And there was there's many startups here. And so you got to think that they don't have that many employees working in customer service. So these companies are all growing. I feel like Indiegogo is still growing. So something like that doesn't mean that they're shitheads to guys like you. It just means that they're still growing and figuring it out. I feel like.
I'm sure. Yeah, and I honestly, I don't think. I think for the most part, they're going to be reaching out to people that they want to bring people in that are going to bring in, 6 figures times over. You know what I mean? Sean Gordon Murphy would make sense why someone would reach out to him, because they're expecting for him to make them quite a bit of money. Well, at least he's on their radar.
Yeah, I mean, that's wonderful. He has a resume and stuff, and and he's has a name built for himself. But they should want everyone to make that much.
Yeah.
So it means they should pair someone with everyone. Say, hey, and with maybe just the salesperson in mind. It's almost like Indiegogo should give those people a percentage of the of what the campaign makes. If they work with someone and they build a solid campaign, they point out errors, and they say, hey, you can do this, and you should have a YouTube channel and you should promote on Twitter. But if they had a beautiful campaign, how people make their own campaigns. If they have a beautiful campaign because someone at Indiegogo helped them out, it's okay, dude, the ship is yours, drive it, but I set it up, and then, Indiegogo could give that person a percentage as if they were a salesperson.
Yeah.
almost as if they were a web designer, you know, selling something, which they are.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would make sense, especially if they're struggling to get, which is what they said themselves. This was just a few months ago, that they had lots of backers. They didn't have enough projects. So it would make sense why they would have somebody in that kind of a position. The question is this like the gatekeeping position, like deciding, I don't know. So I'm just curious if it's they have a launch strategy.
I totally got us off track. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. This is like literally the only. I said we'd be pretty laid back. This was the only like I just felt like, oh, I'll have some kind of news item. But so far I haven't seen anything about calling out bigots or anything like that. So
yeah. Do you think that would ever be in a job description? I mean, maybe, you know, but
they would probably say it.
You see any like dog whistle words in that? Let's go over it.
That's the question. And they might later down here. That's possible. I haven't read through it yet.
Dude, that whole Black Lives Matter hashtag in there. It's like, come on, dude.
It's still up here.
Well, it goes back to, I was dating a hairdresser. This is the first time I ever heard this said. She said, "You never talk about politics or religion, you know, because hairdressers are coming here all day, and you know,
you're talking to people.
They're just being chatty, small talk, you know." And she said, "You never talk about politics or religion." And then, as I've grown up, you know, I've heard that more, and then now here we are, like Kickstarter, Black Lives Matter.
Right. Yeah,
like it's their slogan.
Yeah, it's no longer like the exception. Like you have a little political discussion on the side that you really, you know what I mean? It's like up front and in your face. The first thing we're going to talk about is politics. So
these Twitter handles with the pronouns, he, him, and I don't know, man. Yeah, there's a boiling pot happening, and I mean things are already boiling over, you know, because half the country is on fire. But where the internet culture is going is really dark.
Yeah. So here's one. I don't know if this is a dog whistle, but maybe it could be widely interpreted. It says serve as an internal champion for the needs of publishing and comics creators. So depending on how you're going to champion them and what your ideology is, maybe this was part of the problem, is that she made her ideology like the leading case. But again, judging by, you know, they've got Black Lives Matter right at the top of their thing. They're pretty happy to let ideology be a big deal here. Collaborate with members of our outreach team and other external stakeholders. Okay, so this is about you. So if you're going to apply, everyone in the chat, if you're thinking of applying, which would kind of be funny, maybe I should apply. You have deep community ties to the book and or comics publishing industry. You're confident in your ability to understand and advocate for these communities' needs. Okay, you're a deft communicator, both written and verbal. You guide, educate, question, write, edit, with grace. Okay, so far these are just basic things. Welcome new perspectives, unless it was, you know, most recently, I guess Mike S. Miller, he got turned down, or you know, your boy Zach, they got turned down as well. You're a thoughtful and thorough researcher. You're familiar with Kickstarter and believe the opportunities represent the book publishing comics creators. You're comfortable speaking, representing both small and large groups. Okay, that's very specific. You're comfortable planning, hosting and attending events. Okay, traveling up to 30% in a post-COVID world. Okay, so it doesn't actually say anything about inclusion, diversity. Maybe this has changed. Maybe this was one of their big reasons. I would hope so, to make a change, and that they needed to reposition it. I don't know, but we do know that the position was closed and now it's open again, and they are looking for applicants. So if you want to apply, there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all we go. I didn't see
like the internal power structure of Kickstarter, unless like we find like you know someone inside.
Yeah, certainly not. Yeah, we might hear some leaks here and there, but again, that's all. If you've been fired, you're going to have a certain perspective.
I just like how Camille Zong is you know, that whole Ethan thing. She's like she wants to be a consultant now, you know. I can tell, like, she wants to be a She wants to be that she wants to be that like person that I was talking about. Sean Gordon Murphy was paired up to make a beautiful campaign, you know,
right?
Because I was part of, I backed Snyder's campaign just to get a view from the cheap seats. Honestly, I wanted to see the what they were giving backers, and I was almost going to refund right before it ended, but I forgot to. But I'm also kind of interested. Again, it's a process book. I think a lot of people are saying, "Oh, he's like, you know, Scott Snyder. He doesn't need to do a thing," and then he said it's he doesn't need the money, but it's a process book. It's not going on the shelves. It's a deluxe hardcover. It has process of both writing and art. I mean, Tony S. Daniels and Scott are both successful, so why wouldn't that's like good for anybody?
Yeah,
you don't have to agree with them. You don't have to like them. You know, you don't have to like what he said in his promo video. But I mean, if you care about that stuff, it's cool.
Yeah.
And you can just resell it on eBay because I see what those Kickstarters are going for. Some of them. Have you ever seen when people are flipping that stuff for?
Some of them are selling for a lot more.
Like the Lady Death stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. To me, I don't have a problem with. I've backed several other projects just to see. I just want to see what they deliver. You know what I mean? I want to see like what the print quality's like what extra, even down to like what are they sending bookmarks and little things like that. All that stuff. I'm just curious as to what they're doing. Jamie's asking, hey, I'm just curious about this. Does Kickstarter have a tighter fulfillment window than Indiegogo? Matt, I'm not sure. You mean on average?
You'd have to talk to somebody like Billy Tucci was doing both. And remember, you and Peter were on a stream where you guys were having a great discussion. I was asking a lot of questions like this, and it was on his channel. And you know, I was saying like, well, what if you do both? You know, same project but both. And I think that's what Billy Tucci did with She. And so he was like talking to Ethan. I don't know if you saw the new show, the recent show that he did. I think it may have been last Monday. I don't know. But Ethan was on Billy Tucci's show, and they were talking about this topic. And you know, Billy Tucci asked about doing both with Kickstarter and Indiegogo. So I just like thought about like myself stumbling across projects when I'm like looking at the project I've backed, and like I'll read them, and I'll even see like a Twitter link. Like there's some book called Blacked Out or Blackout. I can't remember. It is Peter Krause. Are you familiar with him? Is Charlie familiar with him?
No, I'm not.
He's an artist on Mark Waid did this book a long time ago. Did you read it? It's called Irredeemable. Are you familiar with it?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's really good. It's basically like the book is basically like the main character is like Homelander from The Boys. And he does some sick shit. So it's like almost like if you know what Mark Waid does now, or just know what kind of person he is and everything we know about him now, you know, like, oh my God, Mark Waid did this, you know, it's really good. It's really sick. It's like, you know, him, things like him making, there's like a hero faction. And then there's this other guy, I think, the Plutonian is his name. There's like a faction of heroes that are like against him, and he hears everything too. So he's the superhero. So he melts things with his eyes. He hears everything. So they have to be really secretive. And then like he, makes a girl like dress up like one of the heroes that's against him, and watches a guy fuck her, and like enforces a guy to fuck her. And it's like he thought of like the sickest shit for this, like the most sadistic stuff for this like hero turned bad to do. It's really good. And
okay.
Yeah, but anyways, what I'm getting at is Peter Krause. I saw his name and I follow him on Twitter. I saw his name. I'm like, and he was doing a crowdfunder, and I'm like, okay, I'll look at it. And it's like a noir or something. It's like a crime. It's like a crime story. I'm like, and that's almost my favorite. So I'm like, I'll back this. Okay, sure. And it's a different writer. I think his name's Chip Mosher or something. I'm not familiar with his work, any of it. But it looks like what they did is they had it funded on Kickstarter, but then I don't know if they put it in demand on Indiegogo. It was really weird. I clicked a Kickstarter link, and it was like fully backed, but it was made in demand on Indiegogo. So I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah, I've seen a few like that where they'll basically link you over from Kickstarter. They'll link you over to their Indiegogo for in demand. I know, like you'd think they'd want to keep that business to themselves. You know what I mean? And it seemed like an easy thing to do too, to just make the campaign continue. Like it's a different phase. I don't know I'm not like a coder or anything, but it doesn't seem like rocket science. And then they would Kickstarter be making money off of that stuff too.
Yes. And then another thing too is like, I just backed the book, but they're offering prints by like some of my favorite art. In fact, I found out like one of my favorite artists is Francesco Francavilla. I don't know if you're familiar with anything he's done.
Yeah.
He's pretty active though. And they offered like a print pack, like from like 5 different artists, and they were all like little like homages, as if like the story was a movie. So they looked like, I don't want to say homages, but they all looked like a movie poster. Like they look like really good advertisements for if the book was a movie. But so like but little stuff like that, and then even like Snyder and for Noctera, they at the end they offered a print pack too. And man, I collect a lot of artwork. I don't have like I don't have room for any of it to frame, but Jock is really connected with Snyder, and he's one of my favorite artists as well. And he did one of those prints.
Yeah.
So they're all big name artists. So that's like kind of cool, like a print pack with like 5 different artists, like that, their representation of what the story is. And it's, almost like getting variant covers, but it's cheaper than like if you're buying 5 books.
It's not just a book. Yeah. I like incorporating that kind of stuff. We're just involving more artists for sure. Simonon7 says Tucci did around 70K on Kickstarter. He's around 120K on Indiegogo, but he's been in demand for a while. If my memory serves me, I think he made a little bit less money initially on Indiegogo, but over the in-demand phase, it ended up well surpassing it. And I guess that makes, he has a YouTube channel there. He's still promoting stuff. And so
he cross promotes all the times too. So there's that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And over time, you sell books. And so that's definitely a factor too. You don't want to like let people wait forever to back your book, because then it's kind of hard to get the funds you need to make the book. At the same time, making books available is a big deal, I think. And then here's Jamie following up. He says, for example, do they require creator to fulfill within a certain amount of months from the close of their campaign? Obviously, Indiegogo is definitely more open-ended with the in-demand feature. I'll tell you, Kickstarter doesn't. They have campaigns that are really far overdue. Like they've got campaigns that are 7 years overdue for comic campaigns. There are several that are really far overdue. So I don't know that Kickstarter has like a rule, but I think there must be some legal boundary or something where it becomes the question of, hey, did you use this as fraud? I'm not sure how that works, but that's why I think it kind of comes down to you got to trust a creator, I guess. That's why YouTube is great, because you sort of get to know a creator and see if they're still continually in the public eye posting things. And I don't know, if you're really hesitant about backing campaigns, then it becomes, has this person ever done a campaign before? What's their credentials? If you don't have credentials, that's hard in the first place. I know that intimately, but so I don't know that there's a great answer for what is a closer window between the two crowdfunding campaigns, but that is an interesting question. I'd be curious to see if there's a way to collect data on all that kind of stuff.
What was the other thing I was going to say? Yeah, so I was a screen printer for a long time. I did screen prints for a long time. I did a lot of gig posters, so I was like, that got me really into doing
for like bands.
A lot of bands, yeah. Like back in Detroit, you said you spent time in Detroit. That's cool, yeah. We could probably talk bands for a long time, but anyways, because you told me when you were there, and that's like right around like I knew it was going on around that time. But so I did screen print gig posters, and I did a lot of them for myself, and I did a lot of them. I did a lot of them pro bono. Like I didn't get a lot of people asking me to do it. I would just kind of pair up with a venue, and they would give me a really low price. And in Michigan we have basements. I don't know. Yeah, you're in Utah, but I'm in Texas now. I'm in Texas now, and I'm having serious space problems here, man. There's no basements.
There's no basements in Texas? I didn't know that.
No, dude, the ground's too hard. So there's no basements. It sucks. It sucks so bad. So anyway,
it's actually a ground problem.
Well, this isn't new. I mean, they just can't dig through the shit. I don't know if it's limestone or whatever.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Moving on, but yeah, so I did screen printing from my basement. So I had a whole business. I had a little operation going from my basement back when I was working there. I did a lot of vinyl stickers though, like so it was a screen printing graphic design business. But I was doing gig posters, screen printed, and those are art pieces. Because then I come down here at Texas for South by Southwest, and they have. Are you familiar with? There's an event called Flat Stock.
No.
Okay. It's all gig posters, but then it's turning into like an art thing as well. And then are you familiar with their website, the Mondo website? They do art prints.
I want to say that sounds familiar, actually.
Mondo Tees. Like, I mean, they do
Mondo,
t-shirts. But the website is mondotees.com.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I've seen it.
T-shirts are really not what they do. They do like more I don't want to say homage, more reimaginings of movie posters is what they do mainly. But it's all screen printed and it's all awesome. And then they have like certain artists in their stable of people who they do work for a lot. And I collect all that stuff. And so like gig posters, like the screen printed stuff, and it's really nice quality, like the texture of it on like the matte paper. And I've yet to see like a CG creator really needs to do that, because I have stuff from comic people that have screen printed, so do like limited editions with like signed and numbered like in pencil at the bottom. It really looks awesome in a frame. So and Charlie's artwork would lend itself really well. I mean, because you can go digital to that. And also I worked at a job to where you could print digital on matte paper. They were even printing digital on canvas at my last job. So that really lends itself well. And he could do the thing where it's signed and numbered and it's like gallery, frameable quality, and that would pad a campaign really well too.
I like the idea of screen printed stuff, screen printed prints, things like that. I got to play with one time it was like an Adobe convention, which was really cool. I want to go back to one of those again. But yeah, they had some of that stuff. Some of the unique things for crowdfunding, like I've seen some people do metal prints, but it's really hard to find printers that can do, I don't know, like even just foil. It's difficult to find a foil printer. I've found some for cards, but they're really expensive unless you're buying in massive quantities. But yeah, that's a good idea. I'll have to look into that for future ones. I'm always thinking of like, what is a good items to add to it. People want to back more. They want something special in the campaign. So yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. And then actually, now that I'm thinking of it, I know Cartoonist Kayfabe isn't friends with us, but he did limited edition screen prints, and they look freaking beautiful. So
what are screen prints?
I was very curious. What's that?
What are screen prints?
What are screen prints?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, tell me if I'm explaining this correctly, but it's basically like printing. It's like a machine that you print one color at a time. So they often use them for t-shirts is where I've seen them, but they also do them on prints. I used to have one. It was like a robot, and you'll pick the number of colors that you're going to put on this thing. And then it's a very like hands-on, like you actually, there's probably a few different screen printers, but somebody's physically moving the ink over the screen that it's printing on. I don't know, Jasper, is that a good explanation? You probably have a better one.
It's a fair explanation. So it's let's see. Okay, it is a screen, Charlie. So it's basically like a cloth, but it's made out of like nylon or something. And depending on how much ink you want to go through the screen, you'll use a finer one, say like with t-shirts, you want to lay down more ink. So it's if it's a thick print, that is. So you'll go like 60 lines per inch. But then like say something like a poster that's like 4 colors, like a 4-color process thing, or even just something that you want with more detail, you would do like even like 200 or 300, sometimes 400 lines per inch. So that's how much ink is coming out of them. And it does have to do with the thickness of the ink. And so that's a factor. But basically, so Charlie, you have the screen, and then it's a photographic process. You basically coat the screen with like a coating that hardens, and it's basically Elmer's glue but with photographic or photosensitive properties. So once it you keep it in a dark place, it dries, and then you shine a light on it, and you need to get paper that has opaque parts and like clear or transparent parts. And when the light is shined on it, the parts that are exposed to light harden because it's a photographic process, and the other parts they get washed out in a sink, and then you can pass ink in any like design or shape that is washed out. That's when you pass the ink through. So then it makes the shape or the graphic that gets burnt. They call it burned into the screen. There's watch a YouTube video. Old skate decks were like screen printed, shirts, everything. You'll see it on everything. Once you know what it is, you'll see it on everything.
It has a cool look to it too. Just the
texture,
the products. Yeah, the texture. It's neat, and it's definitely a unique kind of item. It feels a little bit more, I don't know, hand touched too. I don't know.
It elevates that.
Yeah.
If you're selling art, it elevates it. It's better than like cardstock and like digital print on cardstock, like stuff that might come from Kinko's,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great. So everybody, of course, I'm going to be promoting Fatal. That's what we're doing. I think we've been going for an hour and 26 minutes, so we're going to wrap it up. But
I got a tech question real quick. Does it sound like I'm talking into a microphone connected to my iPad, or a microphone that's connected?
You sound
mic on my iPad. What's that?
It sounds clear to me. Clear audio.
I'm gonna talk like this. Does this sound like I'm talking into a microphone?
I think so.
Does this sound like I'm talking into an iPad?
Gosh, they both sound about the same. It might be through the iPad.
How about this? Let me tap on this.
Nope, no, I can't hear it. So it's probably going through the iPad. Surprisingly,
my headphones.
I was gonna say surprisingly good audio.
I guess it's the iPad. It's the iPad. So yeah, I'm doing this on the iPad today, and I guess I didn't switch on audio. I scrambled to get this whole setup started, man.
Yeah, it's all good.
It looks good on my end.
I've done that before, where it's just going through my webcam, and that sounded like I was underwater somewhere. So anyway, I appreciate everybody coming to watch. I'm posting the link to Downcast. Our I Borrow Ideas has helped us out too by posting it. Thank you. If you haven't backed it out yet, if you haven't backed it, check it out. Back it. That really helps us out. We're going to push to that 70K goal and beyond. Really, honestly, I want to push this thing to $100,000. I think that would just be amazing. It'd be a huge feat, for a potato. And Charlie Stogan's will help get me there for sure.
Two potatoes.
Two potatoes.
Two potatoes. I just drew one of my favorite panels I've ever drawn.
Oh,
it's page. I was listening to you talk, and it's sort of a byproduct of, I don't know, just listening to conversation. When you listen to conversation, it sinks into your auditory canal and in your brain, and it sets loose the visual part, and it becomes something totally different. It's very helpful.
Nice. I'm excited
to have on, Clint. I really appreciate you having on, and it was nice talking to you as well, Charlie.
Yeah, great to have you on, Jasper. It's always cool to put a face with a name. You see people in the chat, and it's just cool to see, like, man, you're real people with, just like a unique person. So I don't know, it's cool. Like, it's just apart from just seeing people's names in the chat. So appreciate you having you on here, and great conversation, and also sharing your expertise with us. Appreciate that.
Awesome. We'll do it again, right?
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll do it again. All right, everybody, thanks so much, and we'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to make a regular video again, and I don't know that I have a stream planned for somewhere else, but I want to get somewhere else for tomorrow. So I will find a stream and be somewhere out there. So if you're following me on Twitter, I'll post it there, so you'll see where I'm at. So appreciate everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow in the next video.
Okay, you just gonna kick me?